Okay, so, like, imagine this. You're at the bar, right? And you're looking at the drinks menu, trying to be good. Or, at least a little bit good to your liver, right?
Right.
And it just kind of makes you wonder, like, out of all the drinks, which one is the least likely to make your liver hate you?
Yeah.
Because we've all heard it all,
Brent
right?
heard it all.
Tequila's cleaner, red wine's basically a health drink,
Right.
and beer, well, it's just beer.
It's just beer, right?
Exactly. It's like this minefield of health myths out there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we're here, dear listener. Today we're diving deep into the world of alcohol and your liver.
Yes.
And trust me, it gets interesting.
It does. We're dissecting a really fun conversation from the Health Myths Unveiled podcast.
Oh, yeah. I love that podcast.
You're great.
They're so funny.
They really are.
Yeah.
They get into it. They don't sugarcoat anything.
They really don't, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's break down these drinks.
Right.
Starting with tequila. It's got that whole pure agave thing going on,
Right.
which I'll admit used to make me think it was healthier.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's a common misconception.
Okay.
The truth is, your liver doesn't really care how the tequila is made.
So it doesn't matter if it's like the fancy stuff.
It does not matter.
Uh.
It all gets broken down the same way. Plus, people usually drink tequila as shots.
True.
So your liver has to work even harder to process all that concentrated alcohol.
Oh, so those nights of tequila shots probably weren't the best for my liver, huh?
Probably not.
Okay, good to know.
But before you swear off tequila forever, let's move on to another popular choice, red wine.
Oh, red wine.
It's practically got a health halo.
Right, with the resveratrol and antioxidants and all that.
Exactly.
So does red wine get a free pass then? Because I've definitely used that excuse before.
It's true that resveratrol, which is found in grapes and red wine, has some potential cardiovascular benefits.
Okay.
But, and this is important, it all comes down to dosage.
Dosage. Okay, explain that to me like I'm like at the bar trying to make a decision.
Okay, so some studies have shown that moderate red wine consumption might have a small positive effect on your blood pressure. But overdoing it can actually have the opposite effect.
So those giant glasses of wine aren't doing me any favors?
Not really.
Okay.
And while we're on the topic of wine,
Yes.
let's not forget about white wine.
Ooh, white wine. What about it?
Well, it's kind of sneaky.
Sneaky.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same, health halo as red wine.
Yeah.
So people might not think twice about having a couple of glasses. But white wines tend to be sweeter.
Oh, true.
So you might not even realize how much sugar or alcohol you're actually drinking.
It's like the sugary cocktail of the wine world.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And all that extra sugar puts even more stress on your liver.
Right. Poor liver. Okay, so we've covered the hard stuff. We've covered the wines. What about everyone's favorite social drink beer?
Right.
Beer always seems to get labeled as the better option. Like, oh, it's just beer, it's fine. Is that true?
Well, it's true that beer generally has a lower alcohol content than liquor,
Right.
but people usually drink a lot more of it.
That's true. No one's
Yeah.
judging your 3-beer pitcher like they would a triple shot of tequila.
Exactly. And all those pints add up. You might think it's just beer, but if you're having multiple drinks, especially if it's a higher alcohol beer like an IPA, your liver's still processing a lot of alcohol.
Wow. I never really thought about it like that.
So all those, it's 5 o'clock somewhere beers, maybe not the best idea.
Maybe not.
Okay.
And this is where that key takeaway from the podcast comes in.
Okay, what's that?
When it comes to your liver, it's not really about the type of alcohol you drink. It's about the amount and how often you're drinking.
So you're saying my liver doesn't care if I'm drinking a craft IPA or a glass of fancy Cabernet Sauvignon. It's all the same to my liver.
Your liver doesn't discriminate.
I love that. Whether it's top shelf tequila or, like you said, a beer, it's all going to be processed the same way.
That's kind of hilarious, but also eye-opening.
Yeah.
Hilarious because my liver doesn't discriminate is my no favorite line, but also eye-opening because it really simplifies things. I don't need to have a guilt trip about which drink I choose as long as I'm being mindful of the amount.
Exactly. This knowledge just empowers you to make more informed decisions about your drinking.
Yes. And that's what we like.
Right.
Informed decisions. That's what this deep dive is all about.
Exactly.
Now, the podcast did emphasize moderation, but what does that actually look like?
Right.
Because moderation feels like such a subjective term.
It really is. There's no, perfect answer for everybody.
Right. So how do we figure out what's right for us?
Well, it's not an exact science.
Right.
Everyone's different. Your body size, your metabolism, even your genetics can play a role.
So, like, what's moderate for one person might be way too much for someone else.
Exactly. And it's not just physical factors. Your metabolism can be influenced by like how much sleep you're getting, your stress levels,
Mm.
even your gender can make a difference.
See, this is making me realize I've probably been using the word moderation without really understanding what it means for me.
And it's very common.
Yeah.
We hear these general guidelines, but we don't really know what they mean on an individual level.
So, where do we go from here? What can our listeners do with this information?
Right. So no magic formula, but it's more about a personal journey when it comes to our livers and alcohol, right?
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
And there are resources out there that can help you. You can always talk to your doctor.
Or registered dietitian. They can give you more personalized advice.
Yeah, they say knowledge is power.
Mm,
The more you know about this stuff, the better choices you can make, right?
exactly. And it's also about listening to your body.
Oh, interesting.
How do you feel after one drink? How about two? What's going on that day that might be affecting how you feel?
That's a really good point. It's not just about how many drinks you have, but like everything else going on. Like you said, sleep, stress, what you ate that day.
Exactly.
It all plays a role.
It all matters. You have to be an active participant in your own health.
Mhm.
You can't just listen to general advice.
Right. Wow. This deep dive has been quite insightful. I went from thinking, okay, I need to find out which drink is the healthiest,
Right.
to realizing it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's more about me and what works for my body.
Exactly.
And maybe investing in some smaller wine glasses.
There you go.
There we go.
It's all about finding what works for you, and that's going to look different for everyone.
Which is true for a lot of things in life, right? What works for one person might not work for another. We're all on our own little journey, but hey, at least we can approach those journeys with a little more knowledge and maybe a little less stress on our livers.
Well said. Couldn't agree more.
So there you have it, listeners. Next time you're at the bar, remember, your liver doesn't discriminate. Moderation is a journey, not a destination, and knowledge is your most powerful cocktail.
Cheers to that.